Hello, everybody. This is Sharonda, and this is my web presentation on my YouTube channel, Spiritual Sense. Today is actually Saturday, which is March the 26th. And so in this YouTube channel, I go over topics in regards to the paranormal, occult, supernatural. So I speak on things such as hauntings, curses, out of body experiences, near death experiences, soul travel, spiritual communication tools, UFOs. I also incorporate a daily tarot card reading into this podcast as well. So it's an open social dialogue in regards to those topics. Now, before I proceed, I'd like to state that this podcast or this web presentation is for entertainment purposes. That means I don't go stupid programming and prying into any one person's affairs and then presenting it here on this podcast or webinar for Spiritual Sense. Okay, so when you begin to work with spirituality or spirit work, you will notice how serendipity and synchronicity go hand in hand. So for my tarot card reading, I um, typically use the Celtic Cross tarot card spread, which is a 10 card spread. You have 6 cards that's in a cross. Then you have 4 additional cards for more clarity in regards to the reading. Typically, I don't know what the reading is on until I get to close to card 6 or 7, and then that's when it begins to, dawn on me. Okay, this is what the reading is on. So when you begin to use tarot cards, the brain is engaged different than normally because with myself, out of 10 readings, I say 3 to 4 times I may be spiritually led, meaning it may be applicable to a situation where someone steps in and in essence, I would know that it is coming from someone who is no longer here. They may step in to relate a message in regards to someone that is alive. Oftentimes, I can pick up on the sensibility of everyday walks of life people as well. Okay, so with me, with this metaphysics, newfound spiritual awakening, um, this is the spirit of God. Believe it or not, be it favorably or unfavorably, meaning be it of a good cause or not so good cause. But ultimately, God is as I mentioned, I do feel as though there are other gods out there, but I honestly believe that they work under the guidance and the operation of a supreme God. Okay, so I feel as though He allowed things to happen in our life, whether it be for favorable cause or for unfavorable cause. The outcome is this: it's going to be a message one way or another. Is what I'm getting at. So, before I proceed, I'd like to pay homage to God, the supreme being of all being. Um, the riches that I favor, which are Basset or Bashet, Yemaya, Shango, and Osiris. So you could call upon these deities in times of trouble. They help with infinite knowledge, things you may not know too much in depth about, and it would, give you inclinations about that to where, it's a difference between having knowledge and the ability to apply that knowledge, like as it relates to spirit and this time and space. This is beyond, common knowledge or common sense, so to speak. You would think on things that you never really gave much inclinations to or about. And that's how it works. This is God, believe it or not. Oftentimes we like to associate God in a, box or contain God and his capabilities, and, you know, think of God being a comforter and a, someone that we can seek out in times of trouble and to restore us. And that is true, but there is also a God that is not so favorable in terms of transitions, things that we don't want to go in this time and space, uncomfortable things that we don't want to touch bases on, or we don't want to deal with or acknowledge. So that's why I say angels and demons are essentially the same thing, to be honest with you. It's all based on what you are receptive to, because, being of this flesh, you know, we view things based on face value, based on what we see versus based on what we know. And once you have this newfound spiritual awakening, you will see that everything is spiritually led, be it favorably or unfavorably. And that is under the guidance of a supreme God by way of other gods. But ultimately, he has to be the one that co-signs on whatever happens. Okay? I believe that. So, Father, please give me infinite knowledge, wisdom, and capability as I do this reading. I don't know what the reading is on, but I do feel like it is a relevant reading. I do. And so I'm going to proceed to scramble my cards. As I mentioned, I have my new deck of cards, which are the ancient, let's see, is Angels and Ancestors Oracle cards. Very vibrant, beautiful cards. And they're my new favorite cards. Okay, so I have did a quick scramble, and I'm going to proceed to pick. Okay, so we have 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so let me proceed to lay the cards down now. And I'm just going to proceed to turn the cards over. Typically, I don't do that, but I'm doing it for this reading. We could go ahead and get through this reading for today. Okay, so for card 1, we have Druid. It says hold the space. Hold the space. So this is what I have for card 1. Card 2, this is the barrier or issue. Excuse me, this is the barrier or obstacle. Shapeshifter, transform and unveil your gifts. Part 3, Eagle. See from a higher perspective. Part 4, this is the root of the issue or the reason. I have Star Ancestor. Follow the voice of your soul. Part 5, Arrow. It says surround yourself with protective energy. Part 6, Animal Garden. Trust your instincts. Okay, so in just me, And just me pulling those cards, I feel as though this reading is applicable to someone who is battling some type of adversity, as we all will. This is a ploy for somebody to take presence in your life, to move you from your situation. This is kind of like a continuation of the last reading that I did on yesterday, where I mentioned about um, fear. Like I feel like the reading was in regards to somebody who felt a sense of fear, in regards to someone trying to manipulate them out of where they are. So I feel as though this right here is kind of like a synopsis of that or continuation of that. But it gives me more clarity, and lets me know that this is someone who is trying to get you to move in a different direction, like someone who's trying to get you to move in a different direction in life. Is what I feel. So this reading is the outside forces coming in, like letting me know someone is trying to get you to move to a different direction, like for their benefit. Is the point, for their cause, to support their needs. And so that being said, oftentimes when you are gifted and when you are in demand and need, you don't allow people to dictate what they want of you. There has to be some type of compromise or agreement. And I feel as though this is something that you have constantly been played with, where people constantly want to get you somewhere so they can prove a point. Is what I feel. To prove a point. To prove a point. Now, I mentioned on yesterday when I mentioned about, you know, not and feeling the need to always be right. When it comes to you and your life, and you have to suffer the consequences of what you do and don't do, are these people going to sit back and stand for you? No, they're not. And oftentimes you will have to, you will see the proof in the pudding. You have to look out for number one. And as I mentioned, in this newfound self love and love of self, you can't look out for no one else unless you look out for number one, and that's yourself. So you cannot continue to make decisions based on what other people want of you or what other people desire of you. That is not right. Because when they all said and done, do you think many of these people are going to speak for you? They're not. They'll speak for you while you laid up in the bed on your deathbed. They'll speak for you, but ultimately, no, no. You have to look out for number one, plain and simple. And I know you may have people out there that tell you to the contrary. These are the same people that are in need. Of course, if someone is in need, they're not going to be concerned about your personal needs. They may feel as though they are, but they're not. So I show Animal Garden. Trust your instincts. So God is going to give you a sign by way of whatever animal that you favor, whether it be an owl or maybe whether it be a bird or whatever the case may be. He's going to give you a sign, and he's going to let you know in regards to that particular animal what the true design. Why was this animal put into design or existence? And that will be your inner innate cue as to what he want you to do. Because oftentimes we would get sidetracked, we would get beside ourselves when we get encased in someone else's reality. And I'll just give you a little brief synopsis. So when I had my, you know, spiritual awakening, which was a few years ago, a couple of years ago, I was given an ultimatum in the brink of death's door and corner. I was given an ultimatum, and he began to make me aware of things that I never really gave much inclination to. And I was given an ultimatum. And the essence in getting that ultimatum, he made it apparent to me what that was, that you were being backwards. And many of the spirits that, was surrounding you really could care less. Sometimes we have to step away from a situation before we gain true understanding and insight as to what is being presented to us. Because as long as you're there to sing a song, that's what you're going to do. Simple as that. So I feel as though this is somebody that's trying to pull you in a different direction that will be for their cause. So you got to be the one that have the love ahead and say, you know what? Is it worth it? Is this truly what I desire in life? Is this truly what I want? Constantly being pulled and made to look foolish and unstable and not all there with it. Do I want to continue this in my life? Is this my life's purpose? Because, ultimately, when it's all said and done, these people don't care anything about me. They taunt and they mock me and they talk behind my back. They could care less of whether I go or come. And many times you will see that. You will see how people will mock you. They will. And deceive you. And they want to continue to perpetuate that attitude. You have been deemed this. So we're going to continue to put you in situations so we can prove a point. And once God has enlightened you as such, then and only then will you see why certain things happen as they do and why psychology was infiltrated as well. So card 7, She-Wolf. It says unleash the wild within you. So basically, this is the attitude. They want to keep you because I said that you are a bitch. And if I've already established you as a bitch, then you are going to do as such. And you're not going to deviate to the contrary. And when I see you come around and you don't fit the part or do as I have already prejudged you to be, then I have to look within myself because I am wrong. So I can't accept the fact that I am wrong and I don't have all the answers. And everything I said and everything I thought was wrong. And that's basically what that is. Card 8. This is what physically surrounds us. So I have Stag. Trust and thrive. This is your sign. You need to thrive. There's more for you. I mean, you may not want to because this is what Satan would say, but what does God says? Satan being the lazy one, the one that doesn't want to do anything. Of course, when a person doesn't want to do anything, he's going to make it or she's going to make it appear as though they're handing you something for your works, but ultimately you're doing their works. So you have to sit back and ask God to give you insight, clarity, and understanding. This is their desire. What is your desire? Because it may not necessarily be that you desire to move away from your location. It could very well be fear, as I mentioned on yesterday. Fear. I don't desire to actually move from my location. I desire for growth and personal development. So you may want to remain in your space or in your place, however you want to move. So this could be applicable to, a career, a job, or whatever the case may be, where you want to get more experience. You want to learn more things. You want to acquire more knowledge and know-how. So I understand that. You never stop learning in this life experience. Simple as that. I understand that, and I can respect that. Because we all, well, most of us are like that, where, when it gets to a point in time where, what, this is it for me. Many times people may tell you you need to go back to school in order to get better. Well, that may be the case in many instances of the matter, but not all the time. There may be where you can obtain certifications, and to acquire more knowledge and, get more pay if that's what you desire to do. But, you have some people who have come to the point in life where, what, the money doesn't even matter anymore because I'm simply giving it away. So you feel like you're wasting your time. Trust and believe. I can understand that. What is it in it for me? People tell you, oh, you're here because, you care. And that's understandable. But you got to, number one, take care of number one. Because if you continue to let those spirits talk in your ear, that's exactly what they're going to do. While they walk their ass off and live in their happy land, and here you are stuck in the rut. So you have to be the one to see it for what it truly is, and don't continue to let Satan play on your intelligence and manipulate your emotions. This is the message for today. And I feel like this message is being this I feel like this message, somehow I feel as though I'm talking to many of people, but somehow I feel like I'm talking to someone who has given time, effort, and attention in terms of services. So it could be a social worker, it could be a Bible teacher, a preacher's wife, a politician. It could be a vast amount of people who are in this same rut. I keep going through this same thing over and over again. I do the same things. I deviate. I try to change. I get over here. It's the same argument. And if you let Satan talk in your ear, he's going to make you feel as though, okay, you need to transition. So a lot of times when we feel depression and we feel depressed, this is God making it apparent to you who does not truly desire to be here. This is not how you feel, this is how they feel. And if you become encased in that reality, you would take on those emotions and it will weigh you down to where you say, you know what? It's time for me to move forward or to transition. It will break you down and break your spirit. And once you allow Satan to come in, he's going to invite other guests with him. He's going to bring baggage. And I say I'm just using that in a metaphorically. It could be she. It don't necessarily have to be he. It could be she or they or them. They bring in occupancy and they sit up. Don't let Satan what? Set up occupancy in your domain. In your domain. Because when he does, he brings luggage. He brings luggage. He brings baggage and luggage. Problems. Then you may have a legion to come with him with his luggage and problems. So you have to be the one to say, you know what? I'm not going to continue to allow this to be my reality. I am far more worthy than this. And Satan has to simply go somewhere else. So, as I mentioned on yesterday, I said there's oils that you can take and adorn yourself with. This here is Spiral Wall, and I've pretty much used most of this oil, so I got to get some more. That's about as much as I got. It is really good. You know, um, you can possibly Google um to make the recipe, or you can just simply buy you some. It's very good for banishing off the evil eye, weapons that forms against you, jealousy, envy, and strife. It's very good for that, keeping you focused, but however, keeping you conscientious of your surroundings. Because oftentimes we can get so, when the enemy comes coming at us all different types of way, and we can get so encased in trying to tune them out that we become tunnel vision. So you don't want to be tunnel vision. You want to be aware of your surroundings, but you also want to tune out those demonic spirits and trust and believe it. I kid you not. They would not even look your way. They would not even look your way. And that is the God's honest truth. I am not lying to you. This is the truth. Those that seek to cause injury, harm, danger, confusion, will not look your way. They will be distracted. They will want to come against you, and all of a sudden it's like, all of a sudden they may, without even, they don't even have to, it's involuntary. It's involuntary. It's involuntary. That means the spirit work against his own self is what I'm getting at. They don't have to think. They don't have to, there's no thinking. It is involuntary. When those weapons come against you to attack you, it will turn against his own self without even thinking about it. It won't even have control of his own actions. It will be distracted from you. Get you some of this firewall. Firewall. Although this reading that I'm speaking on, and it's in regards to personal development and growth, I do feel as though there is an attack to get you to move to the likings of someone. I don't know if this is somebody that somehow I feel as though this is Satan's biggest tool. There is somebody who I feel like has an affinity to you, that likes you. That's what I feel. And what they do is there's an eligible bachelor out there. It's what I feel, because I feel like I'm talking to a woman. And so they put you around or in the vicinity of this person. You would know them because they're thirsty. You would know a thirsty ass. And when they get you around that person, because you don't pick up on his or her cues as to how they feel about you, they become angry because you were brought in for something else. And when you don't take heed to what their advances are or they subtle, cues, and all of a sudden they want to make up shit on you and twist it in their head and twist it and manipulate those around you to come against you. Trust me, I know this. I know this. I know this. Oftentimes you'll find where they want to prove a point. You don't fall suit to my reality. So I got to find a way to get you out of here because you don't prove what I want to be put out there. You're not falling in suit or playing along with the stereotypes that I have already infiltrated and put out there. A systematic proving a point. You're to the contrary of what my thoughts were and what I was told and what I believe, my own delusion. Like I said, Satan will begin to believe his own lies or her own lies. So when you come in and you do anything to the contrary to their own prejudges, narrow-minded mindset, the first thing they will want to do is taunt you and get you out of that situation. So I feel as though this is something that you're dealing with. I have dealt with this. I know many of people have dealt with this. I have many friends and family have dealt with this and are dealing with this as well. So what do you do in times like this, in times of trouble? What do you do in times of trouble, in times such as this? They'll tell you to go back to school just to turn around and tell you to go back to school. So you have to say to yourself, is a lot of this stuff really even worth it? Many times you'll find it's not. It's not. The simplest things in life is what matters. Good, good health, mind, body, and spirits, and a choice few friends and family that you can truly trust and adore and love. You want to keep as many people and spirits out of your space as possible. The less you have to deal with, the more better off you are in life, regardless of whatever popular belief may be. And that is simple as that. And anybody that tell you to the contrary, it's because they on some superficial, delusional, false sense of self. And somebody has not told them to the contrary. And it may make you begin to wonder who is forefronting this agenda. Because somebody has a lot of spirits and people in this time and space wrong. They do. They honestly do. So I feel as though this is you wanting to get personal development and growth within yourself for your own personal being and to provide service to the community. I don't feel as though it has anything to do with money because it's already been typecast as to where your money will go. You know, I can't get no more of this, so what difference does it make? And I can understand that. I trust and believe it. I can understand it. So we have what? Card 9. Now, card 9 is what? Hopes, fears, and dreams. It says protection guardian. Drop your shields. So you want to be guarded. But there is, I do show, several angels, detective angels around you. And your protective guardian is letting you know, okay, whatever you choose to do, you are protected. You are who you are for who you are, and you have a right to feel and believe as such. You don't need to have anybody to come and dictate what you should and should not do, particularly when you are of good mind, body, spirit. You don't mean no harm to anybody. The only thing they want to do is prove a point. They want to get you over there and just have you to be, the side. But if I'm not of any purpose, why do you continue to call me over here? That's what you need to tell them. That's what you need to tell those spirits. If I'm not of any relevance or importance, well, then you do it yourself. If what I do does not matter, but then you're more than welcome to come in and you perform these things yourself. That's what you need to explain to these spirits that continue to come against you and to try to make you stagnant to prove a point in his cause. Because you got him out there. You got him out there. So the outcome to this situation, I show Lord, take charge with authority. As I mentioned, when you walk in authority, those superficial spirits will have to flee. Oftentimes, when you see a person needs to prove something to you, it's because they lack and they have a sense of inadequacy. There's a lack within themselves. When you someone who does not feel the need to prove anything to anybody, a lot of people don't like that. You would know when somebody is used to owning a certain thing versus when somebody is imitation and mockery to the sense of the matter. And I think oftentimes, bringing up cultural in terms of the black race, I think this is what a lot of that clash of the ego, misunderstanding, things of the sort, because when you walk in authority, oftentimes, as the saying goes, there's not enough Indians because there's too many chiefs. Everybody want to walk in authority, but nobody wants to be the Indian. Meaning, don't nobody wants to be the fall guy, or don't nobody wants to be the lower class, because everybody is walking around in authority. So where do you bring order? And I think in instances such as that, many times, but due to mockery, many people may push up certain individuals and place them in authority who are not qualified to be in authority. They're in authority because of visual, meaning face value. And this is the biggest trick the devil ever pulled, because oftentimes you will find that who's behind this? Ask yourself that. You'd be very surprised as to the manpower behind a lot of these businesses are. Okay, a lot of things that happens in life. Who is the quote manpower behind it all? And that is the biggest trick and the biggest tool you will come to know. You can't judge a book by its cover because you don't know where a person has been. You may see one thing on record, but you don't know who has spoke to this person over the course of their lifetime. And I think there's a need to prove that. I don't feel the need to prove anything to anybody. I've said that time and time again. And I think some people need to hear that reading. I feel like that reading is a reading that is applicable to many situations, but somehow I feel like I'm speaking to those individuals who are in service, meaning services, a social worker, a pastor's wife, pastor, Bible teacher, someone that's in a position where there's some type of ministry is what I feel. So ministry may not necessarily, or counseling, may not necessarily be uh, just religious wise, but in all aspects of ministry. Okay. Um. So you have to be the one to say, okay, is this worth it? Because many times when you're empathetic or have, you know, have empathy for people, um, it's God enlightening you. This is how these people feel. You may not necessarily feel that way, So you got to learn how to be true to who you are and knowing who you are. And I think a lot of times, that comes with time. That comes with wisdom, experience, when you can deviate and see the difference, see the contrast. Is this how I feel, or am I picking up or tapping into the feelings of someone that is within my vicinity, location? May not necessarily be in your vicinity. Sometimes you can tap into the feelings of people within the TV across the world. I mean, hey, this is the spirit of God, is what I'm getting at. The spirit of God. So I do thank you for tuning in to this web presentation on my spiritual sense daily tarot card reading. And so if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, you're more than welcome to comment below. Until then, you have a safe and wonderful day. Good day.